What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to make a video just kind of off the cuff because it's something that's been on my mind lately and something I see happening very frequently, and that is the fact that a lot of people's metabolisms have slowed down due to really low calorie diets or crash dieting. So what we do know is that our metabolism can adjust by about 40%, which is pretty extreme. So as an example, say your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, and that's the amount of calories that your body will burn if you just laid in bed all day and didn't move, like bed rest. So we each have a BMR, and that's dependent on our height, our weight, our age, our gender. So say as an example, you have a BMR of 2,000 calories. If you crash diet, say so extreme as to only eat 1,000 calories a day, because you really want to lose weight and you have a less than optimal understanding of how weight loss and metabolism works, that your metabolism can adjust by 40%, meaning that it will downregulate to 1,200 calories. I can't say for sure how long it will take to do this, but the way that a lot of people do diet, we do know that they eat extremely low calories for extended periods of time. What this means is that when your basal metabolic rate adjusts to such a low level, you now need to eat less than, say, again, as just an example, 1,200 calories a day, which is not a lot of food. And that if you eat even slightly more than that, you're going to be starting to put on weight. And then that gets you into a place where you feel like the only thing that you have to do is either work out or exercise more, and usually this is chronic cardio, which personally I don't recommend. I really do believe that resistance training is a better option, or to cut your calories even further, leading to deprivation, feelings of just not being fulfilled from eating, and you feel like you're starved, and like it's just not a good way to be. It's unfortunate because, again, I really see it very frequently. Usually it seems to be more women than men. I do find typically that women tend to do more of the crash dieting and chronic cardio. What we want to do when we get into that state is something called reverse dieting. This is something I've only fairly recently discovered. I really think it's a great way to start building your metabolism back up. So it seems counterintuitive, but this is where the whole title of this video comes from, in that we may need to eat more calories and eat more food in order to lose weight. And people are just like, oh, what do you mean eat more food to lose weight? Like, that doesn't make sense. But it does, because there's really only a couple ways that we know that work in terms of building your metabolism back up. That's eating more food slowly to build your BMR back up to where it should be based on those factors that I mentioned before, and putting on more muscle mass. So that, again, is also a reason why I'm just much more in favor of strength training or resistance training. So that's lifting with weights or using machines as opposed to cardio. I do think cardio has its place. I don't think that we should be doing chronic cardio. That's going to be a whole nother video. That's something else I've really been thinking about a lot lately. So basically, what we need to do is, and again, this is just for educational purposes, I'm not suggesting that anyone do this without the guidance of a nutritionist, a trainer, your doctor, anything, something like that. So basically, again, as an example, your BMR is 2,000, and right now it's adjusted such that it's now actually 1,200 calories you're burning. Each week, you want to start building your metabolism back up by about 150, 200 calories at most. I would say you don't want to jump right to 2,000 calories because you're going to start putting on weight like crazy. Your eating patterns, your gut bacteria, your enzymes, all these things have not adjusted to eating that much calories, so you want to slowly build it back up. So say, I guess, like over the course of basically 4 weeks, we can build it back up to 2,000 calories. Ideally, at that point, you want to maintain what your BMR should be for about 3 weeks, until we slowly want to bring it back down again. And you don't want to consistently be in a deficit or a surplus. Say this kind of works both ways. If your goal is to put on muscle mass, or even fat potentially for people who have extremely dangerously low body fat levels, you want to be in a surplus or a deficit, again, depending on your goals, only for like 3 weeks at a time and then a week of maintenance, because you don't want that metabolism to adjust. You want your BMR to stay at what your BMR should be based on, again, your height, your weight, your sex, your age, your body fat levels. That should be static. If you have a properly functioning metabolism, your BMR should be what it should be, right? Again, so it can adjust, it can slow down. When people say they have a fast metabolism, that really isn't the case. Evolutionarily speaking, it doesn't make sense for your body to burn more calories than you need to be. That's like, it just doesn't make sense, right? It's not, your body's not going to waste energy. Our modus operandi, our number one motive is self-preservation, and to burn more calories than we need doesn't make sense. It's just not going to do that. So that's why your metabolism slows down in the first place, is that it thinks food is scarce. Your body thinks food is scarce. Again, our genetics, our DNA, we've been living in the post-industrial age, or even the post-agricultural revolution, for only such a very short amount of time in the grand scheme of things. We haven't adapted to this surplus of food, this easily accessible food all the time, this lack of activity. And when we're not eating a lot of calories, our daily bodily functions are going to slow down in order to preserve ourselves, like in order to preserve fat mass. Fat mass is protective. It's meant to be there 4 times of food scarcity. Again, these are just kind of general tips, but it's something to strongly consider. If you're eating, like, again, just a kind of a random number, but like 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day, for most people, that's really, really low. I just know what it's like. I've been there. I've crash dieted before. I've been the person who would go out to get wings and beers with my friends, and I'd be the guy having a salad and a water because, like, I'm just too wound up tight about this stuff, and like, it's not a fun place to be. That's not how we should be living. There are healthier ways to lose weight. There's no quick fix. The reason all diets work is because they put you in a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter if it's low carb or low fat, or whatever, paleo, vegan, carnivore, it doesn't matter. We do know the law of thermodynamics plays a part. I don't think a calorie is just a calorie. It's what those calories come along with, but like, in terms of gaining, losing weight, it is that simple. But the thing that people don't realize is the metabolism shifting part. As Dr. Ken Berry once said, and I love this quote, I might be paraphrasing, but something to the effect of, I can lock you in my barn and you're going to lose weight. Doesn't mean it's going to be healthy, right? So we don't need to deprive ourselves and feel slow and sluggish and like unhappy and cranky and have cravings in order to lose weight. I do think there's healthy ways to do it. You probably do need to work alongside an expert to efficiently do it. I think, tracking your calories, it's not a place you want to be for the rest of your life, but it can be really beneficial, especially for even just like a few weeks to a month, just to be able to visually know how much food you're eating. Like, at this point in my life, I can look at a plate of food and estimate the amount of calories and the macronutrients in it. That comes with time. So work with an expert, work with a nutritionist, a trainer, in order to do this and to succeed. And then eventually their goal should be to give you enough information so that you can go and do it on your own. Their goal should not be to keep you as a client for the rest of your life. And if you even feel slightly like that person is trying to do that, that's probably a good sign that you shouldn't be working with that person. My goal when I work with people is within a few sessions, it depends on their needs, but like, if someone's like moderately healthy and just needs a bit of a push in the right direction and a little bit of information, my goal is to work with you to give you enough information so that you can go off on your own and live a healthy life. Some people do need a bit more accountability and back and forth between an expert and the client, so that's something to consider too. But bottom line, just to wrap this up, your metabolism can shift. I think it's very common, and if you have crash dieted and have had extremely low calories in the past, I almost guarantee that that's happened to you. And if you feel like you are constantly gaining weight even though you're eating such a low amount of calories, you may need to reverse diet and build your metabolism back up. You should consider strength training, exercising. Again, I'm going to do another video on that. Yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to say. I hope you found this valuable and that this has helped you in any way that makes me ecstatic. Please like, comment, subscribe, share your feedback in the comments below or on my Instagram page or my Facebook page, whatever works best for you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, guys.